Welcome to the Reece Report. I am Andrew Reece. I am very happy to be bringing you episode 6, featuring the A&W or A&E docu-series. Today we are covering the Macho Man, Randy Savage, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers from when I was a very small child. I remember him for many, many years, and I still remember him today. You can find me at the Reece Report. You can find me on Instagram at Ram316. You can find me on Twitter at Mouth of the North. Please subscribe, share, comment, watch our videos. We really appreciate your support. Today, to do this review with me, I have Brian Hossein, my most popular, my biggest guest. He is here today. Brian, how can they find you?
Might I say, it's a pleasure to be on 4 of your first couple episodes. I wish you nothing but the best, my brother. It's so great. Oh, yeah, it's so great. You guys know where to find me. Normally, I'd be sitting here with my cohort covering basketball with the one and only Mouth of the North, Andrew Reece, covering basketball. And you guys can find us, simonbroder.com. Amazon.ca. Go buy that book. Find me, King Hussein, on all social media platforms. You can find us on To The Point Instagram, To The Point Facebook, To The Point Raps on Twitter, To The Point YouTube podcast. You guys make sure you go find that. But in this corner, right there, across the ring from me, the squared circle, no man weighing in with the hot takes, hailing from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the Mouth of the North, not and only the undisputed Mouth of the North, the one and only Andrew Reece. Reece.
Dig it!
Yes, that to do a Slim Jim. You brought me out here, man. I'm loving this. You know, I got my Macho Madness right here. So what's up, brother?
To all you wrestling fans, this is for you, man. I know I have a lot of friends out there that watch wrestling with me and grew up watching wrestling with me. This is for you. So we're going to talk about the Macho Man. A&E did this documentary a couple of hours. I was not overly impressed with the documentary. I'm just going to say that from the start. There was a lot missing, but we're going to cover what we thought were the main points. And some of this, we're going to also talk about a couple of things that were missing. It's too long of a career to even, go through it all today, but I'm going to do the best we can. We're going to do the best we can based on our experiences watching the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Or Randy Poffo, as he's known in real life. As most people would know, he started off as a minor league baseball player. He loved baseball growing up. He was quite a good hitter. Brian, I hear you have some information on him being a minor league baseball player.
His last year in 1974, he was batting .254, 16 home runs, and 129 ribbies. Skip, I know if you were here with us, you'd be wanting to talk about this basketball stats, but you're not. So hashtag suck it.
So what happened was
he did very well. He tore his right arm, and he came back. He learned how to throw with his left, which is absolutely phenomenal. Great athlete. What do you think about that, Drew?
Oh, it showed his commitment to being excellent at whatever he did, which would then help him when he left baseball. He left baseball because the team gave up on him, and he gave up on baseball. And he basically said, I'm done with this. And then with his brother Lanny, went on to create his own rival wrestling company called the IWC, which was a rival to Jerry the King Lawler's Memphis Wrestling in the 70s. They did that for a while before they went out of business. And then Macho Man started a great rivalry with Jerry the King Lawler before his WWE days. Now, the Macho Man met Elizabeth before he went into the WWE, and they got married 6 months before he started his career. And then shortly after, she started being his valet. and then this is what got me into Macho Man. I mean, I was a young kid watching Saturday Night's Main Event when my dad would let me stay up, But
Yeah.
his promos were legendary and are still legendary to this day. He had an amazing ability to go down and up with his voice with the most incredible intensity, which is something I dearly miss in today's wrestling. Brian, I understand you have quite an impression of the man.
It's nothing but a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee. That's all it is. It's a cup of coffee. Because the cream always rises to the top. I told Elizabeth. I told Skip. You go left. I'm gonna go right. And we met right back up in the middle. Man, how can you say no to that guy when he's doing promos like that? How can you say no? I don't care how high he was. We got to keep that quiet. But I don't care about that, man. Those were some of the greatest promos any wrestlers ever cut. He's right up there with The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena. He's right up there. Hulk Hogan with the greatest promos that you could ever find, man.
Yes,
I got to give it up to that guy.
He was, as he referred to himself as, the cream of the crop.
The cream always rises to the top, man. It always rises to the top.
Yeah, just amazing promos. And he was a heel, and I loved him. So that should tell you something about how great his promos were. So Elizabeth, as you'll see in this documentary, Elizabeth was a major part of this guy's life and career. And I know you wanted to cover Elizabeth, which, I mean, I was surprised at how much she was covered in this documentary. It might as well have been the Macho Man and Liz documentary. So I'll let you go ahead with your thoughts on Elizabeth. Miss Elizabeth, the first lady of wrestling.
Listen, can I just say this? To me, she's the ultimate WWE diva. She carried herself with so much class, so much elegance. She would be like one of those people where you go to their house, she's going to give you a sandwich. You're gonna eat like she oh my goodness, she just like
I was in love. I know that.
Yeah, I was in love. Not just physically, but mentally with her. Unfortunately, the way Macho Man treated her on screen was the same way he treated her off screen. Very unfortunate. I understand that on screen it is to make himself to be the heel, to make himself to be the villain, that you want to treat a great woman like that, like garbage. But so you can hate him, so it draws ratings, whatever. But for him to be doing that in real life, and I thought it was very sad, like as her career went on, how she was with Lex Luger and unfortunately overdosed, which is something people really don't want to talk about. It's a shame to see because, and I do not condone domestic violence, ladies and gentlemen, and all you young kids out there, do not do that. Do not hurt a woman. Women are the greatest thing ever. That's where we all come from. Guys, please don't do that. I understand it was one thing for showmanship, but then hearing stories about him locking her up in the hotel room and locking her in a closet where she's eating and she's bulimic, and it wasn't cool. Like, I'm not tarnishing the late great Randy Savage or the late great Miss Elizabeth. I'm not tarnishing them, but I do not condone that, and it's a shame that it had to come that way. Drew?
Yeah, I think Macho Man, I believe that he lived that character, and what I mean by that is similar to the Undertaker. He lived that character like 24/7, and as unforgivable as it is, that's who he was. He became that character. And if you listen to and watch the Macho Man's career, he was a perfectionist. Ask any person that he wrestled with, he wanted to go over each and every individual note of match. Like, he was a perfectionist in every way, and it bled into his life, and it obviously affected his personal life greatly, especially with Elizabeth. And an example of this is WrestleMania 3, which, um, you
against
know,
Steamboat.
I mean, him and Ricky Steamboat had what's widely regarded as one of the greatest matches of all time, and stole the show from Andre and Hulk Hogan, and that's a result of him being the perfectionist that he was, and his drive to go to the top, and so I mean, I just believe he lived that character, and that's what made him what he was, both good and bad. And unfortunately, this, I mean, that led to them having a lot of problems, and then having that fake marriage at SummerSlam. A lot of people don't know that they had a marriage. The main event of, I believe, is the '88 SummerSlam, was them having a marriage, and they had already broken up. So that was
Elizabeth, will you
yeah.
marry me? Oh,
So
yeah.
a lot of people don't realize that it wasn't a real marriage, that they weren't really getting married. They were actually quite broken up at the time, and shortly thereafter, I believe, they were split completely. So
Yep.
I just think that, and look at the way this guy dressed. I mean, come on, this guy was a pimp in the ring. Look at the glasses. Look at the way that guy dressed and the way he talked. This guy was a pimp. Okay, like I mean, I'm not saying Elizabeth was what I mean, but the way he acted like a pimp in the ring and outside the ring. So like, it was just a very strange guy who became one of the greatest, and that's what drove him. I mean, if he wasn't that crazy, he probably wouldn't have been as great as he was, and he probably would have had a better life with Elizabeth. So I mean, who knows? I mean, his unfortunate death is something that you can't believe actually happened, because he seemed like he was going to be happy in his life, and then all of a sudden he has a heart attack while driving his car. So I mean, it's just crazy the life this guy had. He also had the WrestleMania 9 is what I wanted to bring up, that may not too many people know. So a lot of people
Really?
a lot of people
Why
believe
so?
this story. A lot of people don't, but there are some people inside of wrestling that swear to this. So at WrestleMania 9, Hogan shows up to the main event, and he's got the biggest black guy ever. I remember as a kid, I was like, why does Hogan have a black guy? I don't remember this happening. I never knew at the time. I never even questioned it at the time. I was so young. But
yeah, we were like 8,
I
9
mean,
years old, something like that.
Apparently, and this is a part of this crazy Macho Man, apparently Elizabeth was staying with Hulk Hogan. Now, they were the mega powers at the time, or they were the mega powers at once. They were friends at one point, good friends. So she stayed at Hogan's with his wife Linda.
Hogan's place,
right?
Yeah,
with his wife Linda, but Hogan didn't tell him. And when you're dealing with someone like the Macho Man, you need to tell him that. So he found out, and what I believe happened, even though this has not been corroborated, I believe he socked Hogan in the face and knocked him out. Now Hogan will tell you that it was a sailboat accident, and that's what happened. But I believe
he was filming Mr. Nanny at that time.
I believe Savage knocked him out. That's what I believe happened.
Yeah.
Before the event.
I agree with you.
Like literally before the event, and he showed up with a black eye and wrestled and what have you. I mean, Hogan's story of getting 100 stitches, like, look at him in WrestleMania 9. If the guy had 100 stitches, he wouldn't be able to wrestle. He would have had marks on his face. Okay, this guy got punched in the face. So that's just a tale of what Macho Man was. And he was just a crazy addict in more ways than one that made him what he was, both good and bad. It also led to his Slim Jim commercials.
Slim Jim.
So what do you think, Brian? Yeah. I mean, that's my thoughts on the Macho Man. What do you think?
You know what, man? I got a couple things I want to bounce off of you. Okay. In 1989, he was crowned the Macho King. I know there's only few kings.
Yes,
myself,
with Sensational
Lawler,
Sherry.
Macho. Yes. Do you know who he beat in the finals for that one?
Oh Lord, was it Mabel?
Tough guy. Oh the
God.
Former Toronto Argo, Jim Duggan.
Oh, I did not.
Our Toronto Argo.
Yeah.
Okay. But one of the other things I wanted to bounce off of you is I was kind of disappointed that they didn't show that he had the Mega Team or the Macho Team, whatever, with Miss Madness and Medusa. I know
Yeah.
they didn't touch on that,
They
but
didn't show
I
any of
want
his
to
WCW stuff at all.
just except for Gorgeous George,
Yeah.
and the steroids.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, do you recall that story about him and Jake the Snake with the Cobra?
I remember this like it was yesterday when the Cobra bit his arm, and I was like, only Macho Man would let somebody do this. Like I could see Macho Man saying, let Jake, you can let the snake bite me. Like Jake says it wasn't set up, but man, I'm telling you, if there was one guy
Oh,
that I
they set
believe,
it up the night before
yeah,
in the hotel room.
I just don't think it was meant to be that long or that serious a bite. Like this snake bit this guy, and I would not put it past Macho Man to make it seem that real to get to have the snake bite him right in the arm. I mean, it was scary, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the funeral parlor incident like it was
Oh my
yesterday.
goodness.
So like there was a lot of stuff. Like what two characters, Jake the Snake and freaking Macho Man together? Like how crazy can you get? And then you had him and Warrior later. Him and Warrior together might have been one of the weirdest and greatest combos ever. So I mean, it's just
neither of them made sense.
Yeah,
when they're in their
couldn't
promo.
understand them at all. But what a combo, So
I have one last thing for you, Drew. In 1994 in WCW, for the tournament to win the heavyweight championship belt, who did Macho Man beat in the quarterfinals?
Oh, I don't know that. I thought he beat the Giant in the final, but I have no idea who he beat in the
quarterfinals. He didn't make it to the finals because him and Ric Flair both got disqualified.
Yeah, I don't know that.
In the quarterfinals, the second round, your boy,
Stunning Steve.
Yes, sir.
He beat Stunning Steve. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually had to dig in deep to this one tonight just to get this fact just for you.
I
know you're the biggest Stone Cold fan in the world.
Yeah.
So
I didn't watch WCW until after the NWO invasion angle started with Hall and Nash, because I was a huge fan of Razor Ramon, and when he went to a WCW, I started watching. So that wasn't until then that I started watching. I know Macho Man was an announcer for so many years. Like for 2 years, they had him as an announcer. And I'm like, why is this guy announcing? It was so weird to see him announcing, and he was doing promos as announcing, which was weird. But yeah, he had quite a career.
The other thing that was very interesting too from that show was I was so surprised that his mother was a big disco fan. Macho Man, I got to be a macho man, and she named him that.
Yep.
That's so crazy. That blew my mind, man.
Yeah. I still remember the last time I saw him, which was in the Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
And he looked insane, and I don't mean that in a good way. He looked insane, like still on the steroids, still as crazy as he was 20 years ago. Like he looked insane, and I was like, wow, I cannot believe that's still the Macho Man. And then I saw him with a white beard after, which really freaked me out. It's like, oh my God, he looks like Santa Claus. It was just so weird. It was so weird to see him with a big white beard. I'm like, oh my God, that's the Macho Man. And
Santa Claus in Tampa.
Not long after that, he was gone. So
yep. That's all I got for you this week, brother.
So that's our show, guys. Like we're gonna keep doing these.
I can't wait till next week, man.
We're gonna give our thoughts. I mean, we're not gonna cover the whole documentary. We're just gonna give our thoughts and our own experiences, and go through the important parts or stuff that we thought were missed on the show. And we grew up watching these guys, so we're gonna love every minute of this. And I hope you guys love every minute of it. I hope you guys comment if we missed something or you want to mention something. Please let us know. We'll even talk about it on the show. So let us know if we missed anything, or if you got any memories of Macho Man. Let us know. Subscribe. Put your comments on there. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on the show. We'll bring up. We'll shout you out. You guys.
Yep.
Yep. I know I have a lot of wrestling fans that are going to watch this. Friends that I grew up with. Let us know what you think. Brian, take us out.
Andrew, it's a pleasure, an honor to be part right here on the show with you. I know I'm like, I, am I gonna get a trophy at some point for being on the show the most? Like, I don't know. Skip might want to take me out on that one. Guys, like Andrew said, man, go out there, watch the show, click subscribe, click like, let them know what you think, let them know what you feel, let us know. I'm gonna be looking at the comments because you already know I'm all about that social media life. You guys, let us know what you think. Tell us what you feel. Tell us how you think. Look forward to the next one. Keep Andrew going. I already know he's covering basketball, football, baseball soon, wrestling currently. We are going to get in there with you. He is going to get it in there for you. You guys can find myself and Skip on To The Point YouTube, podcast, To The Point Raps on Twitter, To The Point on Facebook and Instagram. You can find myself, King Hussein, Simon, SimonBroder.com. You guys know where to find us. Nothing but a cup of coffee because you know who's going to bring you the truth, the one and only, and Reece, the mouth of the north. You already know what it is. It's nothing but the cream always rises to the top. That's how it is. Andrew, love you. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time on the Reece Report. Good night.